What's going on, all you secret agents? It's your two favorite critics back here for Cinephellas. We're back talking about the final installment, Daniel Craig's final installment as 007 James Bond, and the 25th film, the movie that just came out recently. We finally got around to checking it out, and we're talking about No Time to
No
Die.
Time to Die.
And like I was saying, I just watched these movies for the first time on the James Bond, Daniel Craig movies. Been having a great time going through these. 4 out of 5 I really loved, and this being the final chapter in Daniel Craig's story, had an absolute blast with this movie. This movie is directed by Cary Fukunaga, and a director that we both really enjoy. It was a director we wanted to see helm the new It movie, but ended up going somebody else. But love this director and love what he did with this character in the new film.
He has his own visual style that we saw on True Detective, especially his brilliant episode with the tracking shot. It was the 5th or 6th episode of True Detective. It's one of the greatest episodes of all time on TV. It's highly regarded. He brings his own visual flair to this movie. We saw what Sam Mendes did with the last two films. So Carrie comes along and gets to do what he does best on this film. And as always with Bond, we get another huge opening sequence where Bond is sort of living in peace with Madeline. He's just chilling, retiring. He hasn't been doing his 00 agent lately, but he's called into action once again. And some really cool chase scenes with the motorcycle with old Bond there. Great sequence.
Basically, in this movie, James is hanging out, kicking it, relaxing, and Felix, played by Jeffrey Wright, shows up asking for his help, and they're on the path of this new villain, which is Lucifer Safin, played by Rami Malek. Introduction in the film is probably one of the most memorable scenes, probably from this film, and of all the villains, really top 5 for me, especially. I thought his intro was super horrific and scary. Him showing up with a young Madeline, and he has like this mask on. He comes in and ends up capping, her mom early on in the film. So I thought it was really cool. Cool intro, and it had a horror slasher vibe to it.
I got the same thing from that. Yeah, I definitely felt the horror influence. Like you mentioned before, he was supposed to direct It, and that would have been really cool. I think he would have done something even different than Muschietti did. I did enjoy that film, but yeah, I would love to see him do a straight horror film. And you really feel that in that opening sequence with Safin there. Rami Malek's the villain in this. He wears kind of like a Phantom of the Opera mask during his time there, which makes it really creepy. And he just plays this really creepy villain who has, he has his big plan of what he wants to do involving his technology that he's found out, and he's gonna, it's this big nefarious plan, but he has his reasons, things that happen in his past that lead to him and Bond coming together in this film and having their big fight.
Yeah, basically, it comes in possession of Hercules. I thought they were saying Hercules in the movie. It's a microscopic weapon designed by the British government to target a certain person through DNA, directed through nanorobots. And essentially, it's like skin to skin contact. It like passes to detect the DNA of like whole families, and they find out that he's manufacturing this mass quantities. His intent is to kill millions of people. He's a really bad guy. And you can see that his intentions aren't very good, having to do with this technology and then trying to wipe out, mankind, millions of people. So I thought it was kind of cool and in a way kind of relevant to what's going on with the pandemic right now globally. So they had a lot to say, and there's a lot of good themes in this movie.
This movie was supposed to come out earlier in theaters, but yeah, the pandemic pushed it back, actually. Yes, super relevant to what's going on now with, the health situation, and felt very relevant. And when it came out, that's pretty impressive considering it was even pushed back and was supposed to come back even earlier. So really good timing to come out finally when COVID was dying down a little. The surge wasn't happening obviously at that time, so people got to go to the theaters. I got to see this in the theater. It was a great experience. There's nothing like a Bond film in theaters. Uncle Logan mentioned that it's supposed to be coming back for Imax engagements, and you should definitely check that out on Imax. That'd be awesome to see, because they filmed specific scenes for the
IMAX
screen.
Camera.
So,
yeah, they did. Yeah, you can definitely tell, especially some scenes like towards the end. You can definitely tell with the IMAX camera for sure. But this comes out in IMAX tomorrow on the 21st, so I'm very excited. So maybe I'll go check that out sometime. soon when I'm free and rewatch this in the big screen, because this is a movie you have to see in the theater, and I'm so bummed that I missed it because just how massive and big the movie is and how high the stakes are with this movie being the last Daniel Craig film playing James Bond. So you know they're going to go out with a bang, and they literally do in this film. At this island. It was the first time ever in 60 years a James Bond character getting blown up and killed. He had to make the decision, with Madeline and finding out they have a daughter together that she looks exactly like James Bond. He has to basically get killed off to save them. And that's pretty sad, and how the way the movie goes out. It's something I wouldn't have predicted at all. And the first time they've ever done that.
Very daring to end it like that. They could have chose a lot of different things, maybe just have him go off somewhere, out there in the ether, he's still alive, but he's somewhere out there, and they'll reboot it, of course, with a different actor. But no, they chose to make a definitive ending for Daniel Craig's story. And obviously, he agreed to it. He signed on for it. So that was, as far as he was concerned, he was okay with that choice. And yeah, it really set the high stakes in this film. Couldn't be any higher. It's Bond's life. And it's, all of mankind's lives, really, with this DNA technology that's going to kill off most of the people on Earth, which is what Rami's character Safin wants to do. So the stakes couldn't be higher. It's the final Daniel Craig Bond film. And yeah, Bond dies. We see all these rockets headed towards them, and you hear the explosion, and no more Bond. But he saved his family. He saved Madeline and his child. So he did what Bond would do. He'd choose other people over himself.
He just cares so much about everybody else and protecting them, even his family, like most people would do, like we would do. So, he did what he had to do, and that was goodbye to his character, and that's the way he went out. And I really appreciated that. The writers, director, producers, all that, killing off the main character that we've loved for 60 years. And passing the torch down to the next person that will be taken over. That's going to be interesting what they're going to do with this character for the future films. Yeah, I absolutely love the Daniel Craig Bond films. What a great way to go out with this character. I loved, Daniel Craig in the final installment of this. Really, stakes were higher. A lot of great action scenes, finding out about his family. Really great villain with Rami Malek and having to do with his technology and poison. In the Poison Garden, really great scenes and massive scenes. The landscapes and set pieces really fantastic in this. Cary Fukunaga did a great job directing this movie. Glad I got to see this. I'm definitely going to check this out in the movie theater again in Imax. So with that being said, I'm going to give James Bond No Time to Die. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 Cary Fukunaga hair pieces.
It's also worth mentioning that we do see Ana de Armas in this film. She has a nice little, she has a scene in it. She's not done it much, but her scene was really fun, where they're in the bar and she had to help Bond fight off some people that come, and they had a nice interaction there. So she was cool. Paloma was the name of her character. It was good to see her. Leia Seydoux, obviously Madeline was back. We saw Felix, his buddy Moneypenny. Ben Whishaw was back as Q. He wasn't in it too much, as I can remember anyway. It's been a couple months since I watched it, but he didn't have a lot to do in this film.
Yeah, he looked different in this movie too. I didn't even recognize him. I don't know.
Yeah.
He wasn't as good in this movie. I mean, he was fine, but not as good as the other ones. I thought weakest performance.
Yeah.
Maybe just a
didn't have as much to do. Yeah, I agree. Moneypenny. So we had, characters coming over from the other movies of Daniel Craig. So this film really did a great job wrapping everything up. The whole story of James and his family, and his loyalty and everything like that. With Madeline Swan, his relationship with her, and finding out that he had a child. Obviously, he would do anything for the child and for her. And this movie provided finality to Daniel Craig's Bond character. All his issues that he was trying to figure out answers for, and all the mysteries were answered. And in the end, he had to sacrifice himself for everybody else, like a true 007 would. I had a great time with No Time to Die. It's a great ending to the franchise, and one of the best Bond films ever. Again, Daniel Craig, really only made one kind of stinker, and he wasn't even the problem with that. It was just the script and the direction of that one. So he did a great job in No Time to Die. It's gonna be weird seeing a different Bond now, but that's what they do. They reboot the character every couple of years. So hopefully they make a great choice, and we get another great portrayal of this character in a different way and see something new and exciting. But yeah, Daniel Craig really, put his stamp on this franchise and gave the Bond franchise some much needed energy, going on, 20 some movies into the franchise. And this is going to keep going. And it's all thanks to Daniel Craig. So I am going to give No Time to Die a 4.5 out of 5 Lucifer Safin hair pieces.
So we're interested in hearing from you, Wild Rascals. What's your favorite Daniel Craig Bond film? What'd you like about No Time to Die? What didn't you like about it? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit subscribe. Also, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com.
You did it, mate. You watched all the Daniel Craig Bond films. How does it feel to finally check them out over the past couple decades?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I want the box set now. So that's how I feel about them. I really loved them. 4 out of 5. I thought they're all really fantastic movies, different directors, different villains. But Craig brought a new energy. I loved it. It was very raw and real and rough. And I thought Craig was great. So yeah, I would definitely rewatch all these movies again, watch them with the wife, and have a great time with them again.
Definitely. I need to add it to my collection too. There's a set coming out in 4K with all 5 Bond films. Right now it's going for about $100. So I might wait a little bit before I do it. Oh, this guy's birthday is coming up. Oh, let's start a Kickstarter. Yep, there's a birthday coming up. So you never know, do you, sport? But yeah, we've been having a great time reviewing these older films. Obviously this one is brand new, but the other ones we went back and revisited. Logan watching for the first time. So I had a great time, talking about them and revisiting them myself. I had to catch up on some of the story that I had forgotten. It had been a while since I watched Casino Royale and Spectre. And so had a great time doing this. We should find another franchise that you haven't really seen a lot of, and we can review that too. That'll be pretty fun.
Yeah, maybe somebody out there has, a suggestion, recommendation for maybe a franchise we haven't talked about. And you put in the comments below and we'll check that out.
Let us know. Yeah, we'll be happy to review some more franchises that we haven't talked about yet, even older films. It's fun to go back and talk about them, and you don't have to worry about spoiling them and everything. You can just, talk about everything that you loved about the film, everything you didn't like. And yeah, we will definitely be back to do this again. This has been a fun time reviewing the Bond franchise. We're obviously wrapping it up with No Time to Die, Daniel Craig's definitive ending. Thanks everybody for tuning in and watching our Daniel Craig Bond movie reviews. This has been the review for No Time to Die. I'm Uncle Henry Hill. I've had a great time reviewing this with my good mate Logan Myers. And as we like to say here, cheers, shaken not stirred, boys.